Living Center, brought to you by Zoom Productions. And thank God for Zoom. We get to talk with everyone across the nation, across the world. Everybody can come in with us. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Any newcomers, you have found us. Congratulations and welcome. The themes for the month of June, if you can believe it, we're in June, just like that. The law of mind is the law of perfect balance and is the medium of all action. We were saying earlier before we started that Sundays is such a peaceful day for most, and it's just it's a day of me to feel relaxed in the mornings, no rush to go anywhere, which is wonderful, especially with spring and summer here now. It's wonderful to feel that, which leads me to say, let's do a meditation this morning and sit back and let everything go that we've got on our plate to do today or throughout the week, and just relax and go within. This place, this time, this moment, we see opportunity to be living in love, in kindness, and a positive example to ourselves and to all people we come across. Thank you, God, for being the living example. And so it is. Welcome back. It's time for a spiritual thought. I'm introducing to you Miss Patty Hummel this morning to give us that talk. Morning, Patty.
Good morning. Thank you. Laurie, I'm sorry that the interference from my planet was messing with your music. Like you said, it just doesn't work on Zoom all the time. But like Joe said, it's June already. Can you believe it? June. So we're halfway through our year of manifestation. And I have to ask you something. How is it going for you? Have you been working this? Have you been paying attention? You know, Are you making any progress? Do you feel more confident with thoughtfully creating your own reality? Or are you confused and have no idea what we're talking about? That could be too. Maybe like some of you, I see you and you and you, you've been practicing the laws of mind for many years and you got a pretty solid grasp of it. And, you know, boy, I'll tell you, I look up to you. It's not an easy thing to do. Maybe like me, you're still shaking off COVID brain after a year of lockdown. And I'm feeling the need to kind of ramp up slowly, if you know what I mean. Even like with work, I just want to go slowly, take it slowly, because you've been in a different place, maybe that planet there. But as Joe said, this month's sermon topics are the law of mind, which is the law of perfect balance, and is the law, or is the medium of all action. Sometimes it goes by the law of attraction, which is real popular with the Abraham Hicks people. It's gone by many names. It's old wisdom coming across as new wisdom now, because we forget, then we remember. And that's something that Reverend Ellen Grace O'Brien taught in her courses, is that, you know, we forget and we remember. It's part of the cycle. So in my iFocus piece this week, I quoted Dr. Joseph Murphy from his book, How to Use the Laws of Mind. This is a really good book. It's kind of thick and pretty heavy though. In this, he said, the law of mind is basically the law of belief itself. This is right on the back of it. That's where I stole it from. He said, it's the law of belief itself. Think about that. What we believe makes us who we are. And whatever you give your subconscious mind, you know, whether it's true or false, whatever you give it, that's what it's got to work with. So there's another book. I like this one. We studied this in Emerson class. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's by Joseph Murphy too. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's got really cool artwork on it. And that's a little easier to read, same thing. So if you want to really get into this subject matter, I recommend those two books. So getting back to it, where am I in my notes? So how to use the laws of mind. And the law of mind is the law of belief itself. What we believe makes us who we are. Whatever you give your subconscious, false or true, good or evil, it will register as fact. That's what Joseph Murphy said. And I find this unfortunate. It's an unfortunate truth with many people, because so many people say, I'm not enough. You know, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not pretty enough, yada, yada, yada. And it frustrates the hell out of me. And I'm always asking them, who told you that? Who told you you are not enough? Why would you believe that? Where is the logic? Yeah, logic. You knew I was going to go there. Look at Sandy rolling her eyes. See you, Sandy. Yes, logic, the cement of the Vulcan civilization. And as is my habit, I often turn to the great oracle Gene Roddenberry, and he helps me put difficult metaphysical concepts into context that my sci-fi loving brain can actually process. And Murphy's focus on belief reminded me of an episode from the original series. It was called The Spectre of the Gun. And you might remember this one. The Enterprise, where I am right now, is going along, discovering new places, new civilizations, and they stumble on this planet, and they try to make contact, and this space boy comes out and says, "We are the Melkoshians, and go away, we don't want you here. You will only be warned once." And they're all, well, wow, what are they afraid of? And of course, their curiosity got the better of them. So they proceeded to beam down anyways. But when they got there, it was not how they expected. And the Melkoshians, they didn't see them, but this voice came out and said, all right, you didn't listen to us. You disobeyed the warning. You're going to be punished according to the template of the mind of your captain, James Kirk. So what the Melkoshians were doing was they were using power of the mind. And you might remember this one because they ended up being in the OK Corral in the 1880s in Tombstone. And it was a really great, one of my favorite of the old series. And especially because it involved Chekhov, but he was my favorite. I had such a crush on Chekhov. So during the course of this, they realized that, okay, they're in the OK Corral, and it's, there's Wyatt Earp and his brothers, I think Morgan and Virgil, I think were their names. And turns out they were the Clantons. The Clantons did not fare so well, according to history. And they're all like, oh, we're in trouble here. And that, there were guns, and there was saloons, but they weren't quite real. They're all like, this is like just the front of like you see in Hollywood, just the front of the saloon. There's no back to it, but they go in and it seems to be in. So to make a long story short, at one point, poor Chekhov gets shot. And I'm going to read you this from, it's actually from the script. I'm a real Trekkie, I'm into this. So Chekhov gets shot. And Dr. McCoy, of course, goes and examines him, and turns around and says, he's dead, Jim. So Spock says, "Doctor, in your opinion, what killed Mr. Chekhov?" McCoy says, "A piece of lead in his body." Spock says, "Wrong. His mind killed him." McCoy says, "Well, come on, Spock. If you've got the answer, tell us." And Spock says, "Physical reality is consistent with universal laws. Where laws do not operate, there is no reality. All of this is unreal." Turns out Spock was right. And Chekhov was not dead. They just believed it. And it's just an allegory of how powerful our minds are. If we believe hard enough, if we believe it, if we truly believe something, that's what we're going to get. There's that, I don't know if you've heard that joke that they talk about the New Thought minister who was preaching about the law of mind. And as the story goes, he was up there preaching about the law of mind, and there was a teenage boy in the congregation, and the more he preached, the teenage boy just kept squirming in his seat and looked really uncomfortable, and the minister was just saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk to him. What could possibly be wrong?" And so finally, after service, he caught up with the boy and said, "Are you okay? Why were you so jumpy during the service?" And he said, "Well, Reverend, you said that, what we think about all the time becomes our reality. And all I can think about right now is girls. And I don't want to be a girl." Ha ha ha. You're supposed to laugh here. I really wish we were live. But they're all just allegories. But what I love about science of mind is that, like all the other sciences, it has its laws, its rules, and principles. And if you study them and test them, there's the important part. Don't just study them, test them, understand them, steep in them. And allow you, just if you understand it, it allows you to create all kinds of marvelous realities. I mean, think about all the crazy, awesome technology we have now. That all began as just a thought, an idea in some person's mind. I mean, I don't know about you, but I haven't even begun to figure out what my cell phone can do. My husband does tricks with his that I'm like, can mine do that? Oh yeah, I can. Hey, how about that? And then there's the not so marvelous realities. I'm thinking about nuclear fission or, plastic, which is polluting our whole planet. But then there's young minds now. They're coming up with solutions to these experiments. These were our experiments that had unintended circumstances. And you always have to think about the circumstances. But the thing is, we are capable of learning. And we are all capable of learning science of mind. And the more we learn, the more we test it, the more we play with it, the more, we look at it as, more like chemistry. We have a periodic table, and if you take, two of these atoms or one of these, you're going to get water. Or, one of these and three of these, you're going to get something else. I wasn't particularly good at chemistry, but I did like it. But we are capable of learning. And despite what anyone told you, you are enough and you are capable of this. You're smart. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. You are loved. And that's all I have to say. Live long and prosper.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you very much. Yes, the mind is the most powerful thing that we know. It's beautiful. Well, I get to introduce Reverend Lori B. Ballard today to do music for us. Hi, Lori.
Good morning, dear ones. Good to see everybody. As usual, the Zoom music thing is just not my favorite thing to do. But poor Joe Nelson was in a tizzy. He needed somebody to fill in, so here I am. And it just so happened that I wrote a new song that I've been working on for weeks. So this actually was a catalyst that made me finish it. But I'm doing it on the piano, which I'm not all that confident of yet, even though I've been meditating to the higher self that everything will go fine. But we just never know, do we? So let's just relax and just pretend that it sounds great, because it sounds really good in my room here, okay? Just because Zoom isn't picking it up, it's not my fault, okay? All right. It's my message for humanity is what I named it. Can you hear that? Are you open to all that is and all you've yet to see? Do you listen to the silence, bending time and space? Do you feel the light is coming from a far away place? Do you know who you are? Energy of love and light. Your thoughts, your intentions manifest your life. I come to you in the love and the light of the infinite creator. It's time to claim, time to rename. Well, God, don't be afraid to say it. You're all that you need to finally be free. Go within for the answers. Be still, dear one, just be. No need to bow down and worship anyone other than you. Your temple doors are open. Your heart will walk you through. Yes, I know who I am. Energy of love and light. My thoughts, my intentions have created my own life.
Thank you, Reverend Laurie. What a beautiful, easy song to listen to. And no offense to you, I was getting ready to fall asleep. It's just so smooth and wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Very nice. You're welcome. Well, it's time for our main speaker today. And I introduce the one and only, our very own Reverend Sandy West. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, honey. Thank you. Oh, the spiritual thought, the music guys, just wonderful.
Yes.
And Star Trek was a wondrous vehicle for teaching us metaphysics and teaching us about the open at the top, all these new thoughts and possibilities. I can remember as the kid, I've said this before, that Dick Tracy and looking at the watch that would have, the video and everything on it, and how far in the future that was, and how far we've come over a lifetime. That we are here now challenging ourselves, looking forward to the challenges, making a difference in this world. I can remember when I was a child and I was riding the school bus. We lived in the country and went to school in Sanger. And we're stopped at a stop sign, a railroad crossing where the buses have to stop. And I look up to the Sierra Nevadas, and then as a child, we could see both the Coast Range and the Sierra Nevadas very, very clearly. It was like a picture. It was so beautiful. And looking up there, and the sun is starting to rise, and the question in my mind was, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And that's the point where I really remember starting on this journey of exploration and trying to find answers to see what was going on. And it wasn't until I think I was in my 20s, somewhere in there, where got calls from the siblings, and mom and dad were going to church. It was a big, exciting thing, you know, because we hadn't had good church experiences, because we, churches, and I want to say the one that we were at was narrow-minded and closed-minded. So this was a big concept, and the phones were just ringing back and forth as everybody discussed it. Well, when I divorced my first husband and went home, I started going to classes with mom and dad. And I think they were in second year then, and they allowed me to sit in at the Fresno church, the PLC in Fresno, and listen. And it was like I had come home. It was words that made sense to me, words that was truth to me, words about these laws that I had no idea was there. I remember when I first heard that the law works whether you're aware of it or not, how mind-boggling that was. There's something there that I don't know anything about that has this impact on my life and how I think and how I live. I had to know more. It was like this driving compulsion. Instead of being afraid of God or source or whatever word you use, I wanted to go towards it. I wanted to know more. I wanted to feel that connection, to believe that connection, to know it was there. And I started out in little ways. You know, we started out like manifesting a parking space, all these different kinds of things, and proving that it worked, because it was so hard to understand. To be able to drive through town and have green lights all the way through, because my consciousness was balanced and centered on that, focused on that. All these different things that started happening. And I started thinking about healing and what was involved with that, and the responsibilities of being a practitioner and doing prayer work for people. That's a big responsibility, to hold that intention, to hold that clarity. And then all the steps that we go through in our prayers, and as we evolve and become more comfortable with it. How I understood then that the core of balance, the core law, was impeccability with our words. That we had to really look at words. That abundance just didn't mean abundance of wealth. It could be abundance of lack. So I had to change that word. All of these words that had to change, they were so important. And knowing that it was okay to have days when you didn't meet your standards, didn't meet the way you wanted to be, didn't meet the way that you outpictured you were being. But to know that it's a progression, to know it's an evolutionary process, to know that balance is something we're striking daily, minute by minute, decision by decision. We choose whether it's going to be a balance that's safe and warm and loving or not. Then I had the questions of, is there ever a balance? And I thought of the balance beam that we'd done gymnastics in school, and how I could be on the balance beam and wiggle and think I was going to fall off, but be able to regroup, to be able to catch myself, to be able to settle down into the knowingness and into the balance. And I used that concept to be able to settle into the laws, to settle into God, to settle into this empowering way of being, to be able to do it more and more. It used to take a long time for that to happen. Now, if I'm out of it, I can, it's almost like a slapping myself, except it's not like that. It's more like a jerk. Okay, what did I just think? What did I just do? That's not the way I want to be. And I learned to be able to apologize, to be able to admit what I had done, to be able to admit what I had said, and that it wasn't the way that I wanted to be, not the role model I wanted to be for my grandchildren or my great grandchildren. That it was okay to keep evolving and to keep learning, okay to be working on this balance daily, that it wasn't a stagnant way of being, it wasn't a goal in that I'm going to reach it and be done. It's an ongoing process that becomes more fine-tuned, more in line with the divine. But in this world, it's still going on daily. When you get up in the morning, what you do then, what you think then, determines the day you're going to have. I know so many people that say they do their prayer work or meditation when they wake up before they actually get out of bed, setting the outcome that they want for that morning. To be able to get up. If I sleep late and I'm rushed in the morning, I still have an hour to drive to Fresno. I have an hour to talk to God, to spend with God, to relax into this law, into this way of being. And it became a thing where a law wasn't confining. A law wasn't something that got you into trouble per se. You didn't get arrested for it. It was something that was just working daily to help me have a more fulfilling life, to have a more balanced life, to be my divine potential in action daily. That was something we're striving for. My divine potential daily manifesting, being, sharing. That was worth getting up in the morning. That was worth getting showered and dressed and going out. That was worth seeing people and interacting with people and being able to mentor and do those things that matter in this world. We never stop. We never stop evolving. We never stop sharing. We may pass from this world, but this isn't the only place there is, the only what we call reality there is. There's so much out there. God expanding, knowing more about itself. As we help that happen, as we look at both what we call our light side or our dark side, we're learning more about God. We're learning more about how it interacts, how it functions, how to use it, how to live it, how to be it. This knowingness is such a gift. You may not always have the words for it, but you have it in your heart. You have it in your body. You can feel it when it's right. You can feel it when you know it's working. This is the gift of the study of science of mind. This is the gift of becoming a practitioner or becoming a minister or just taking classes and evolving and learning more about it. We were talking this morning before we got on about consciousness, talking about the consciousness in animals. And how are we going to do this? And my thought was, we have to resolve the division and the duality that we are experiencing on this world before we go out in space. That maybe the space program waited until we could have a place where we could see another way of being, another way of doing it. So we don't go to these worlds. We don't go in a warlike status, that we can stand and defend if we have to. But it's always with love, always with divine love, that divine connection. So we're always connecting with the God inside each and every one of us. And we go and we make a difference. We go and we bring forth the good we can, the sharing that we can. As I've said over and over, the sharing in the mountain communities when we have the fires was awe-inspiring. The giving of people, the going out and hauling animals, giving animals home, providing clothes, providing food, people giving of their time. That is the most important gift. It's easy to write a check. It's not as easy to make time to go down to include somebody else in your life, to help them, to make a difference. That unconditional giving, that's God in action. That's the divine incarnate flowing and evolving through us. That is the beauty of this teaching, the beauty that we have the potential of living. That's why I call it a lifestyle. We don't just do it on Sunday, we do it 24/7. This is what makes being human so enlivening, empowering, because we have this unlimited divine potential to be anything we want to be. And the more we learn to be the most loving we can be, the most caring we can be, the most sharing we can be. Acceptance. Oh, that's a big one, to accept people who and what they are and still be able to love them, to accept that they've made different choices, but you can still picture the divine, connect with the divine heart, have that there. It's always present. It's always available. It's always accessible. It's free if you think of the way that we measure in this world. We measure with coin. We measure with this thing called money. And the giving is another form of exchange. So when we look at money, when we look at wealth, look at exchange. Look at how we're gifting and receiving, gifting and receiving. If you give all the time and you never receive, you're only half alive. If you don't know how to self-love yourself, to care for yourself, to allow others to care, how can you care for anyone else? It's not whole then. It's important that we start with us. It's important that we know we are enough, as Patty said. We're taught from the time we're born that we're not enough. We can't take care of ourselves. We cry to let them know we need food. We cry to let them know we need our diapers changed. We cry hoping somebody is going to come and meet our needs. Knowing this first gift of community is also a gift in learning about ourselves, because we have to get past that. That is one of the biggest lessons that you'll ever learn. As Patty said, we are enough. Each and every one of us in our own way is enough. The gifting to ourselves is to recognize our potential, to recognize our ability to be the divine in action, to be the divine incarnate, to spread the divine. If you don't take anything else from today's church service, take forward the idea of being the most of the divine, recognizing the most of the divine that you are. To look in the mirror and say, I am divine, I love you. To be able to kiss your hand, kiss your arm. I love me just the way I am. I am worthy, and I am worth whatever I have to do, however much I have to study, however much I have to release and let go, however much I have to forgive, however much I have to accept. I am worth it. So when you go out this week, take it, smile with it. Say it to yourself over and over and over. My being here makes a difference. I am worth it. I am glad to be here. My heart is open. I love, I receive, and I accept love. The world is a better place because each of us is here, living day to day, sharing, being supportive, caring about each other, coming together in community, listening to each other. It is a glorious gift and a glorious experience. Go forth this week and smile, share your heart, and spread the joy and the love. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much. You make me think about my prayers at night before I go to sleep, and my prayers in the morning when I get up. Throw a kiss toward the sky and say, good morning, God, I'm here. I'm here on purpose. I'm ready to go. I need to know what you want me to do today, God. Let me be the vessel for myself and others. You can't start better than that. You just can't. Just feel so good about yourself. We're taking care of ourselves first. We can take care of everybody else at the same time. Just beautiful. Thank you. It's time for our offertory. And would you say the offertory prayer with me? Divine love flowing through me, blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Yes, yes, yes. I think Missy has the information in our chat box about how you can donate. We appreciate your monies and the physical time that you put in to keeping our center alive and well. We look forward to being back there again someday. We're doing very well because of you, because this is our community. We're the ones who make this community stay alive and well. So thank you for all your contributions for that. Announcements. Do we have any special announcements this morning?
I would like to do one.
Yes.
If, guys, look where Judy DeRosa is. John Stanley is with her today, who's
Yep.
doing the meeting at the church. And we've been hearing him on his phone all this time, and he's finally able to get and see us. So hi, John. Thank you.
Good. Oh, there you are, John. Good morning.
A pleasure and a joy.
Nice.
Always good to see you, sir. Anybody else have an announcement? No? Well, everybody's content today.
That's unusual.
Isn't
We'll
that?
take it.
I'll take it too. I like it. Your prayer partner today is me. I will be prepared to take your prayers. I'm prepared to just sit and talk with you if you like. Whatever it is you would like to do as a prayer partner for you today, I'm here for you. Next week's speaker is Reverend Missy Higginbotham.
No,
No? How come I show you as the next week?
the 13th, I'm the host. Speaker is Reverend Bob Hand.
Bob Hand next week?
Mhm.
Okay, you got that? Did you get that, Reverend Bob?
Yeah, I'm the host. So you just turn those around. That's all.
Right, Reverend Bob, we look forward to hearing from you next week. Thank you.
I'm on. Okay.
Let's do the prayer of protection together, shall we?
Mhm.
The light of God surrounds me,
The
The
love.
love of God and
holds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. And the energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is. And all.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Reverend Sandy, will you do a closing prayer for us?
you know, I just feel a need to hear Angie. So
Yes,
if y'all don't mind, I'm going to ask Angie to unmute and pray us out.
yes.
Thank you. Let's go to that top floor of awareness where we know that we are one with this divine energy that we call God. We know that each one of us is incarnated life form of this divine energy. And in consciousness, we are the I am. We are the word. We are that divine force. We are a dimension of infinite possibilities and unlimited potential. I know this is our creative energy. This is who we are. This is our authentic self. And we accept this in love and in gratitude, and say with me loud and clear, and so it is.
so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
And so it is. Thank you all for being with us today. Good to see you all. Have a great, great Sunday and a great week, okay?
Love everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.
Great music, Lori.